It is a truly wonderful sight to watch people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, or even 90s maintaining their strength, moving confidently through the world, climbing stairs without hesitation, and embracing life, living it fully according to their own rules and preferences. Maintaining leg strength and mobility as we age is not only a laudable achievement, it is also a crucial indicator of our independence and overall quality of life. However, the harsh reality is that this outcome is almost never a matter of luck or favorable genetics. Individuals who maintain their strength and vitality into old age typically do so through a clear sense of purpose and consistent discipline. They maintain a healthy, active lifestyle, engage in regular physical activity, and most importantly, prioritize getting the essential nutrients their bodies desperately need to function at their best. But here is the fundamental problem. In today's landscape, the quality of our food chain has become significantly poorer than it was a few decades ago. Due to depleted soil and modern intensive farming methods, many vital nutrients are no longer available in food in the quantities our bodies need to thrive. But before we continue, please like the video, share it with those who can benefit from it, and let us know in the comments where you follow our channel from. Your interaction helps us reach more people with this vital information. More and more people, especially the elderly, are wisely choosing to take supplements to fill these gaps and take care of their health. Although the use of supplements in itself does not pose any intrinsic problems, the real and worrying issue arises when these same products, designed to help, begin to cause harm. These supplements can subtly compromise the strength, balance, and mobility of your legs, often without you even realizing it. In this video, we'll reveal 5 popular vitamins and supplements that, if used improperly, can literally sabotage your leg strength. And don't worry, I'll walk you through it step by step, because as you'll see, the last item on this list may represent the most significant and unexpected risk of all. Let's start with a nutrient that everyone is familiar with, the so-called sunshine vitamin, vitamin D. This vitamin plays an absolutely essential role in supporting healthy bones and muscles, and ensuring overall mobility, especially as we inexorably age. This precious nutrient, in fact, facilitates calcium absorption, improves immune function, and is crucial for optimal muscle performance. The question arises spontaneously: how is it possible that something so fundamental to our health can, in certain circumstances, reduce the strength of your legs? The answer lies in a crucial detail that most people ignore. Vitamin D only works optimally when it is in perfect synergy with 2 other essential nutrients, vitamin K2 and magnesium. Without these 2 cofactors, the body may have enormous difficulty regulating and effectively directing calcium. This leads to inappropriate and dangerous accumulation of calcium in areas where it shouldn't be, such as arteries, joints, and muscle tissue. And this is where the most serious complications arise. Scientific research indicates that too much vitamin D, in the absence of adequate K2 and magnesium intake, can cause muscle cramps, general weakness, and joint stiffness. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that vitamin D and K2 imbalances can dramatically increase the risk of arterial calcification. This process hardens blood vessels, which negatively impacts blood flow and muscle function in the lower extremities. It is important to note that prolonged intake of high doses of vitamin D, greater than 4,000 international units per day, without proper balancing, can cause real toxicity. This condition alters the body's mineral balance and causes symptoms such as chronic weakness and fatigue. So what is the most effective and safe way to supplement vitamin D? For optimal health, it is advisable to maintain a balanced ratio of vitamin D3 to K2. The ideal ratio is 1,000 international units of D3 for every 10 micrograms of K2. If you take a supplement with 5,000 units of D3, you should combine it with 50 micrograms of K2. Also, never forget about magnesium, which plays a key role in activating vitamin D in the body and preventing calcium overload. And speaking of calcium, that brings us right to the second point on our list. Although it is not a vitamin, it is essential to consider its role, especially since calcium supplements are often promoted to seniors as an essential bone-building element. Older adults are often advised to supplement their routine with calcium tablets to improve bone strength and reduce the risk of fractures. What may surprise you, however, is the harsh reality of the situation. These supplements can compromise leg strength and paradoxically increase the risk of falls. In fact, calcium does not migrate spontaneously to the bones as if by magic. It requires the indispensable presence of vitamin D, vitamin K2, and magnesium to be directed to the appropriate sites. In the absence of these conductors, calcium can begin to accumulate in soft tissues such as arteries and muscles. This buildup can cause stiffness, reduced circulation, painful cramps, and potentially chronic leg pain, progressively weakening the legs. A 2010 study published in the British Medical Journal found that calcium supplementation alone was associated with a significantly increased risk of heart attack. The key takeaway is this: it is essential to get calcium primarily through natural food sources, rather than supplements. The reason is simple. Calcium absorption from food is gradual and physiological, and is naturally accompanied by other essential nutrients that enhance its effectiveness. Let's move on to a vitamin that many associate almost exclusively with vision and skin health, but which hides an unexpected danger to our strength: vitamin A. Excessive consumption can represent a hidden and insidious risk, and unfortunately, a significant number of older people inadvertently receive much more than they need. How is this possible? It's simpler than you might think. Many seniors use several supplements at once: a multivitamin, a bone formula, and perhaps an immune booster. It's important to note that many of these products contain overlapping doses of vitamin A. The real concern about vitamin A is that it is fat-soluble. Unlike water-soluble vitamins like C, which the body easily excretes in excess, vitamin A is retained and stored in the body, accumulating in the liver and fatty tissue to potentially toxic levels. What does this mean for your legs? Research suggests that too much vitamin A can lead to poor muscle and bone health, chronic fatigue, joint problems, and an increased risk of fractures. This translates into decreased leg strength and an increased risk of falling. Similar to vitamin A, another powerful antioxidant, if misused, can build up and cause serious problems. We are talking about vitamin E. Misuse or excessive intake of this vitamin can lead to a gradual and inexplicable decline in leg strength and overall vitality. The most significant warning sign to watch out for is the synthetic form of this vitamin, commonly known on labels as DL-alpha tocopherol. This man-made variant is often found in cheaper supplements, but the body metabolizes it differently than the natural form and can cause muscle weakness. Even natural forms of vitamin E, if taken in excess, can pose risks. As a fat-soluble vitamin, it builds up in the body over time and can impair the function of vitamin K, leading to excessive thinning of the blood and adversely affecting muscle and nerve health. We've come to the last point, and as promised, this may be the biggest and most insidious risk of all, precisely because it comes from a vitamin that everyone considers harmless: vitamin B6. The problem is not the vitamin itself, but the insane amounts that people take, especially through supplements. For adults over the age of 50, the recommended daily allowance of vitamin B6 is about 1.7 milligrams per day. However, there are supplements on the market that contain 50, 100, or even 500 milligrams per single capsule, thousands of times the actual need. Vitamin B6 is water-soluble, which leads many to believe that it can be taken in large quantities without problems. However, at such high levels, it can accumulate and cause serious nerve toxicity, sometimes with irreversible damage. What kind of damage are we talking about? The experience often begins with tingling, numbness, an uncomfortable burning sensation, and a pins and needles sensation in the feet and legs. If the problem is not addressed, it can progress to muscle weakness and difficulty walking. Once you have identified the vitamins that may be reducing your leg strength, it is equally important to provide you with effective and natural strategies to maintain and even improve it. After all, it is not just a question of what to avoid, but more importantly, the positive actions you take. First, maintain your momentum. The saying, "use it or lose it," is undeniably true when it comes to muscle. Engaging in light daily activities such as walking or climbing stairs is essential to maintaining muscle tone. Next, critically evaluate your diet. Diets high in sugar and refined grains lead to increased insulin levels, which can lead to chronic inflammation and muscle breakdown over time. Minimize your intake of bread, pasta, sweets, and ultra-processed foods. Don't forget about sunlight, an essential but often overlooked element, and the crucial importance of magnesium, a mineral essential for muscle and nerve function. Finally, make sure you stay properly hydrated and make sleep a top priority. These fundamental principles are often overlooked, yet they are the true cornerstone of maintaining strength and mobility as you age. Your legs are essential to your freedom and well-being. It is essential to take care of them with the utmost attention and awareness. If you're in your 60s, every meal you eat, every habit you adopt, and even the foods you've been taught by conventional wisdom to be healthy can have a direct and profound effect on your heart health, often in ways you might never expect. But how would you react if I revealed to you as a cardiologist that some of the vegetables you bring to the table every day with the best intentions, precisely those, could actually harm it silently and progressively? It may seem like a paradox, but scientific truth sometimes contradicts our most deeply rooted beliefs. And if you stay until the end of the video, you will discover things that will change your state of health for the better. Before continuing, like the video, share it with those who can really benefit from it, and write in the comments where you follow our channel, because this information, today more than ever, could be of vital importance to you or to someone you care about. In my career, I have witnessed this dynamic far too many times. Elderly patients come to my office proud and convinced that they follow all the golden rules. They eat plenty of vegetables, have limited sugar, and meticulously avoid fried foods, and yet their numbers do not improve. What they tragically ignore is that certain vegetables, if consumed in the wrong way, in excessive quantities, or in combination with certain drugs, can silently push their heart towards a condition of chronic stress and ultimately failure. Some of them, in fact, can raise blood pressure in a subtle and constant way. Others directly interfere with the effectiveness of life-saving drugs, rendering them useless, and still others can carry bacteria that an elderly organism, with a less reactive immune system, no longer has the strength to fight. So in this video, my mission is to urge people over the age of 60 to reconsider their consumption of these 5 specific vegetables, or at least radically change the way they prepare them, and incorporate them into their diets. I'll walk you through a detailed analysis of each one. I will explain to you with scientific clarity why they represent a real risk, and I will show you safe, delicious, and truly heart-healthy alternatives. The good news is that these dangers are completely avoidable, provided you have the right knowledge and know what to look for and what to avoid during your daily shopping. So, keep following me with the utmost attention, because the first vegetable on this list, a timeless classic of the kitchen that is universally considered healthy, could be in your refrigerator right this moment, ready to be consumed in a way that could compromise your health. Let's start with this vegetable that almost everyone considers a pillar of healthy eating: spinach. Yet this green leafy vegetable, always presented as a superfood rich in iron and vitamins, hides a significant threat for a specific category of people, a threat that acts in the shadows. What would you think if I told you that for people over 60, especially those taking anticoagulant heart drugs, spinach can become a silent threat to their health, completely defeating the purpose of the therapy they are following? As a cardiac surgeon, I have dealt with countless patients who believed they were eating impeccably, only to be shocked to discover, after an adverse event, that their healthy diet was systematically compromising the effectiveness of vital treatments. The problem lies in the fact that spinach is extremely rich in vitamin K, a nutrient that is fundamental in itself, as it is the main promoter of blood clotting. And it is precisely here, in this characteristic beneficial to most, that the danger for some lies. For those taking blood thinners like warfarin, drugs commonly prescribed after events like heart attacks, strokes, or atrial fibrillation, too much vitamin K can negate the protection the drug provides. It's a chemical battle going on in your blood. In practice, this vitamin works to thicken the blood, directly counteracting the effect of the drug that is intended to thin it. The most worrying and insidious aspect is that the majority of elderly people have no idea that this interaction is taking place in their bodies. The person feels well, is convinced that the drugs are doing their job, but silently his body is losing its defenses against the formation of a blood clot, which can be sudden and potentially deadly, causing a stroke or pulmonary embolism. The enemy, let's be clear, is not spinach itself, but the lack of consistency in its consumption. If your doctor has calibrated your therapy on a certain vitamin K intake, a sudden spinach binge throws all the calculations off. If you choose to eat them, do so in moderation and consistently, and always inform your doctor. But if drug interactions are a real risk, another danger, even more widespread and democratic, is hidden in salt. And here we enter unsuspected territory. Take, for example, the common and beloved pickled cucumbers, so crunchy and tasty. These vegetables, which often make the perfect side dish for a sandwich or main course, seem harmless and even refreshing. However, for those over the age of 60, and especially those who struggle with high blood pressure, this snack could be much more harmful than a bag of chips. The harsh reality, which few read on the label, is that these small green vegetables are immersed in a brine loaded with sodium, which sometimes exceeds 1,000 milligrams for a single serving, a truly exorbitant amount that puts a strain on the entire cardiovascular system. That's 2/3 of the entire recommended daily salt intake for an elderly person, packed into a handful of pickles. Sodium isn't just a flavor. It's a chemical sponge that holds on to fluids, increasing blood volume and placing enormous pressure on artery walls and the heart muscle. Over time, this constant, silent, asymptomatic pressure leads to chronic hypertension, a progressive and dangerous stiffening of the arteries, and, in the most severe cases, full-blown heart failure, a condition in which the heart can no longer pump blood efficiently. In addition to salt, a flavor that many love for its liveliness and heat can also put a mature heart to the test. We are talking about the fiery ingredient par excellence, red chili pepper, a true passion present in many culinary traditions around the world. For many seniors, food is much more than just nourishment. It is memory, it is culture, it is the comfort of a familiar taste. And nothing lights up the palate and memories like a touch of spice, which gives passion and character to dishes. A pleasure that can, however, have a hidden cost. But what many people don't know is that this fiery little vegetable, especially in its more concentrated and spicy varieties, could be lighting a slow-burning fuse right inside their chest, putting the stability of their heart rhythm at risk. In fact, chili peppers trigger a series of immediate reactions in our body, similar to a fight-or-flight response. They stimulate the nervous system, increase the release of adrenaline, and significantly accelerate the heart rate, forcing the heart to suddenly overwork. For a young, healthy person, this may not be a problem, but after the age of 60, when the arteries are physiologically stiffer and the heart is more sensitive, this extra stimulation becomes a significant risk factor. I have personally seen elderly patients come to my office with episodes of palpitations, chest tightness, or uncontrolled blood pressure spikes, often after a particularly spicy meal, without ever having connected the two things, attributing the discomfort to other causes. If you already have heart disease or high blood pressure, such a meal could push your heart into a dangerous, irregular rhythm, or even destabilize an atherosclerotic plaque and trigger an acute cardiac event like a heart attack. And if spicy acts as a stimulant, another bulb, celebrated for centuries as a natural medicine, hides an opposite but equally insidious risk for our well-being. We are talking about garlic, but specifically when it is consumed raw. Garlic has earned a place of honor in the pantheon of natural medicine for its myriad virtues. Many older people place great scepter in it, adding raw cloves to meals or swallowing them whole like a pill, believing they protect the heart. And while garlic can be really powerful and beneficial in many ways, improperly used power, without awareness of its interactions, can silently turn into a poison for the cardiovascular system, leading to serious consequences. What most people don't know is that raw garlic is a powerful natural blood thinner. If taken in large quantities along with heart medications with the same function, such as the aforementioned warfarin or common aspirin, it can dangerously amplify their effects. This means that the blood may become too thin, dramatically increasing the risk of internal bleeding, unexplained bruising on the arms and legs, and in the most severe cases, life-threatening bleeding that requires immediate medical attention. But it's not just a matter of bleeding. Garlic, if consumed raw in large quantities, can also sharply lower blood pressure, an effect that, although it seems positive, can be very risky for those who are already on drug therapy for hypertension. For these people, this can cause sudden dizziness, chronic fatigue, or even fainting, with the risk of falls and fractures. This happens because the heart no longer receives the adequate blood supply it needs to function properly. Finally, the last danger on our list does not come from the chemical composition of the vegetable itself, but from an invisible enemy that it can hide. Consider raw sprouts, which appear so fresh, crunchy, and a symbol of a vital and healthy diet. These foods, like common alfalfa sprouts, soybeans, or mung beans, are often seen as a superfood for their pure energy. For many health-conscious seniors, adding them to a salad or sandwich seems like the perfect choice to stay young and fit. But behind their delicate appearance and inviting crunch lies an invisible, real danger. They grow in warm, moist environments, the exact same conditions in which dangerous bacteria such as E. coli, Salmonella, and Listeria thrive. While a young adult with a strong immune system can get through food poisoning with a few days of discomfort, for an older adult, whose immune system is naturally less reactive, the risk of serious consequences is much higher and more frightening. What starts as a simple stomach upset can quickly escalate into sepsis, a generalized infection of the blood, severe dehydration that strains the kidneys, or a dangerous infection of the inner lining of the heart, a fearsome condition known as endocarditis. The irony of this situation is heartbreaking and sobering. We try to eat fresh, living, healthy foods to protect ourselves and end up being harmed by the very foods that were meant to nourish and strengthen our bodies. If you really want to enjoy the flavor and texture of sprouts, then there is only one golden rule that does not allow exceptions. Always cook them before eating. A quick stir-fry or steaming can eliminate harmful bacteria, preserving much of the flavor. After discovering which vegetables to avoid or consume with caution, you may rightly ask yourself, "Doctor, but then what can I eat to really protect my heart?" The answer, fortunately, does not lie in complex or punitive diets, but in simple, colorful, and intelligent choices. The solution is to embrace simple vegetables that support the specific needs of a mature heart. Steamed broccoli, gently roasted carrots, sautéed kale, potassium-rich sweet potatoes, lycopene-releasing cooked tomatoes, and heart-healthy legumes like lentils and green beans are all excellent, safe choices. These foods are packed with antioxidants that fight inflammation, fiber that helps control cholesterol, and plant compounds that actively protect arteries. Best of all, they work in harmony with drug therapies, rather than counteracting them. After 60, your heart does not need extreme diets or painful deprivations. It needs coherence, balance, and foods that love and support it day after day in a path of continuous well-being. Food must become your first ally. I have seen firsthand patients improve their heart health not just through medication, but by rediscovering the pleasure of creating a simple, warm, healing meal. These small, conscious daily choices can literally begin to reverse years of silent, accumulated damage. Your heart has beaten for you, tirelessly, more than 2 billion times by the time you are 60, without stopping, without ever asking for anything in return. But now, at this age of life, it asks for your attention, your gratitude, and your care. Getting older doesn't mean surrendering to decline, but evolving, becoming wiser and more aware of your body. And true wisdom lies in understanding that what once worked well for your body may no longer be so today, and requires a different approach. But here's the good news, the one that should give you hope and motivation. It's never too late to take action. The damage is rarely permanent, and every single small change you make starting today can begin to reverse years of silent stress that's been building up on your heart. I have seen it happen firsthand, with my own eyes, and it is the most rewarding part of my job. Older people who felt tired, out of breath, and defeated by their condition come back to my office with a stronger pulse, a clearer mind, and a lighter, more confident step. This isn't because they did anything extreme or went on miracle diets. It's because they simply paid attention. They learned to listen to their body's signals and made better choices, one meal at a time, one day at a time. You don't have to aim for perfection, which is often an unattainable and frustrating ideal. You just have to be consistent in your good habits, because it is consistency that, drop by drop, leads to the greatest and most lasting results for your health. Your heart still has time, it still has strength, and it still has so much love to give to you, to your family, and to this life you have worked so hard to build. Don't waste this precious time. So, start this new path of awareness today. Review your plate, rethink your habits, and take back your energy, because your next heartbeat is a gift, and it is up to you and your privilege to protect it.